Taking hyperbole, poetry is on the way. Taking hyperbole, the poetry kettle is whistling, yay. Taking hyperbole, poetry and life and death and discussion. Sometimes hyperbole, and cake poetry is on the way.
Yay!
Here we
We're
are.
here.
We made it. We missed
While
Third
that was
Sunday
happening.
poetry, but yeah. Oh, what was happening?
Well, the dogs are all staring at me like, what is she doing? Because we do dance off screen to that.
Just so catchy, world.
Yeah. So yeah, I missed doing the third Sunday. But
yes, but
it was probably good.
Oh Lord, yes. I mean, oh yeah, you had illness and a lot of drama at your household, and we just had illness. Well, a little drama because I was like, Lord Jesus, send them to scout camp at the end of the week so that Mother can have her, 10 days of poetry camp / whatever. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember actually like that filtering through my hallucinating and fevered brain at some point, like, gosh, I hope Amy can still have her time.
Oh, my heart, you're so generous. Even in turmoil, this is Angela Eureka Smith, folks. It's true. Leads with kindness and generosity.
That's because it's always more fun to think about others because you don't have to look at yourself.
Oh, man. It was rough. I am not a person who generally gets sick. In fact, my son was like, when Dad gets this, you never get it. And because, it was respiratory and my son had it too. And I'm like, I know, I usually don't get stuff. And this is really insulting. So instead of being grateful that I usually don't get stuff, I'm like,
yeah.
Oh. So it makes it worse, folks, because you're not used to it and you become a giant, child. But anyway.
Yeah. And nobody knows how to treat you sick.
Like, no, I just hid down here. I was like, goodbye, world.
Yeah.
I'm just going to hide away and be gross.
I did that at one point. Yes, I felt like, and this was probably just in my mind because I was like actually hallucinating, which was really weird.
Wow.
But at one time, I feel like there was 2 or 3 days where I just kind of laid in the bed and I could have been dead and nobody checked on me. This is in my mind. Nobody cared that I was dead in my family, in the house. All you have to do. But granted, they were also dying in their separate areas.
Yeah.
We were like all kind of dying.
It was, yeah. Ours tested as not COVID, but it felt so COVID-y. I'm just like, I don't know what the hey it was. So anyway.
I know. Well, those home tests too, those home tests are apparently not very great.
Right.
So we did, before we took the dog to the vet, we tested ourselves when all that was happening, and it was negative. And it probably was negative for me at the time, but I'm pretty sure Ryan still had it. So he wore a mask.
That's
anyways, good. But it was negative. Aaron got tested at the hospital. He had gone into the ER for a completely separate deal.
Oh, wow.
That's how we even knew we had it for sure, because he tested positive. And at that time I was like, yeah, well, I never catch anything, so I'm cool. And
same.
Little did I know.
Yeah, we thought my husband had a sinus infection because that's what he used to get more. And so we thought it was that. Then my son got it. Then I got it. And it was like, oh, no. And it's like now it's like 3 weeks later and we just still, like, Jason wakes up and just like coughs his butt off. And I do that like before bed. And it's like, okay, we're just going to be coughing for the rest of our lives. The end. So we think that's why it was COVID-y, because COVID hangs around in weird ways. But I don't know. We just want to be part of the history, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it was, because like I said, it's like testing negative and it's all over the place. Yep. We had COVID before that we thought we had COVID, and it probably was COVID because we'd get exposed. But prior to this, it was like COVID to me was like, oh, you get some sniffles and you feel kind of tired. Oh, and brain fog. Okay, can't keep like 50 tabs open and handle them all at once. This was not that thing. This was like,
this was like kicked our asses.
Yeah. Oh, here's my dogs. And hi,
like,
Nina.
I remember. Here's what happened. Hey, Nina. Yes, we're just gonna whine a little bit, and now it's over. We're done. We have recovered and we're back doing poetry, and we do have poems from Nina. Let's see. While Angela does that, I will say that you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and read a poem that I found in my notes app, okay? Because sometimes when like I don't know what I'm gonna read, and then I ended up writing a poem at the gas station this morning. That's another story. But I didn't know. I'm like, I don't have that much except for my new collection, but I've already read things from it here and there. I went through my notes app and found a poem that I'm like, did I write this? Okay, if somebody else wrote this and I accidentally like copied and pasted it to my notes, please say in the comments that this is your poem, because I don't remember writing this, which fascinates me. So I may have done it like in the middle of the night or something. But anyway, here, I don't remember when it's from, either like maybe a year or several months ago. I don't know, but here goes. 2 rooms dancing in, divided by its moon and cat, divided by its flashing eyes and movement of all within. A Rorschach of Halloween, a dim chance of a groovy scene, a hellscape of retromance, a devil's chance, a devil's dance, chanted, connect me to my words, night, connect me with my words. The end. It sounds like me because I'm always trying to find words at night, and I used to really find them, and now they're harder to find. And so I think I wrote it, but I don't remember writing it. Isn't that creepy? I love that sensation. So anyway, check.
Oh my
That was
goodness.
my weirdo notes poem. If I have a pen, I'll put a
Dogs.
check mark. Oh, doggies.
Thank you. I'm glad I caught the poem. Like in between the barking, they stopped. I got to listen to it, and then they all started. So that was for you.
That was, thank you, dogs. That was precious. I appreciate that. All
Nina,
right.
Nina asks, tiara? I think that we've both lost our headgear this month. That's how bad this last month was.
Yeah, I think that we are like a little bit thready for the rest of our lives after that ordeal. Can I just be a little dramatic? And I found my shark tiara from Shark Week on the floor in the living room, and it's on this. But anyway, they're up there in a box that says a file cabinet of tiaras, and it's really far away. And I'm so comfy. You're on the couch.
That's okay. This is unplugged.
Sorry.
Just, this is us.
Yes, it
so,
is. I'll remember next time. I will.
Aww.
Gosh darn it.
Nina says she's wearing hers. I actually lost my hat during this month. That's
no.
I know. I'm like, gosh, that hat was never more than like I practically slept in that hat. And then I stopped wearing it, and now I can't find it. So
yeah. I mean, the ghost needed it for a while, is what we always say when the Roku remote goes missing, which is all the time. The ghosts wanted to have some quiet or watch something. I don't know.
It's funny. So I have heard a rumor that you have a new poetry book out, and if anybody wants to look at it, it's in the links or the description.
Ooh, thank you. Okay, it's called Transfusion Poetica. I was very excited about it, and then it came out, and I had one of my episodes where I'm like, it's trash! I don't think it's trash, actually. I think that's my DNA reaction to life sometimes. It's like kind of in our DNA to have depression once in a while, my family. And anyway, I do love the gold cover. It's killing me. It's a
very class A.
Thank you. In January of 21, I did a small series of portraits called Some Harveys. This is Lillian Harvey. She was a silent movie actress. I also did Nick Harvey and Harvey from that episode of the Brady Bunch, Harvey Klinger, the Who Loved the Bugs, Marsha's boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And then somebody like messaged me on Instagram while I was doing that and was like, my little boy's name is Harvey. So I did him. It was really
that's
fun.
So cute.
This is like number whatever it is, 4 or 6 or something. Some Harveys, number 3, Lillian Harvey. So, and this was a collection of poetry that I started early in the pandemic, like in the summer of 2020. And then it became like I would start putting in things that I had written for either Cake and Hyperbull or the Third Sunday Poetry. And then I started saying, "Oh, Angela Eureka Smith and I do these poetry shows, and these are how we get ideas for forms. And sometimes we challenge each other. And one of our picture skew poems, my poem, and then one of the drawings is in there. So it's got art. It's also an art gallery. It's got like 22, I think, works of art in it, including our picture skew from one of those.
Oh my goodness!
Times. And so I think it's like I said in my Instagram post, I think it's the perfect poetry textbook, but it's got some cigarettes and whiskey in it too. So
well, it wouldn't be poetry without some cigarettes and whiskey.
Not mine, that's for sure. I'm really not that much of a drinker, but sometimes it doesn't take much to kind of take the pain away. So I'll have a drink once in a while. But I have that also that emetophobia, fear of vomit. So I never go too far.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm gonna share this real quick on share the screen, but I haven't been organized, so I don't have that set up yet. So this is gonna
that's okay.
kick us off here. Well, kick us so that you can't see us.
Yeah.
For just a second, but this is the book on Amazon.
Oh, there.
Oh, it didn't kick us off because I was better organized than I thought.
Yay! Oh, look, there we are. Hi, us, right on the side there. Beautiful. So there it is.
I'm so excited to see this. I have not seen this because this came out kind of in my fog. So I am super excited.
Yay! Yeah, that you are definitely mentioned. There is definitely a poem in there that I wrote for your birthday. And so I included that's the one where I included your lipstick portrait because I did ask you. You may not remember.
I do remember that now. Like,
I'm like, oh my gosh,
fog.
I hope she was.
Oh yeah.
I hope she was like with it enough to have meant, yes, you can use that. You can use my face. So it's in there, and
that's so awesome.
And it's a real, to me, it was a really like labor of love, but you know, it's your poetry textbook world, and the back cover is black, so we like black as well. So and it's the first one I've written that's long enough to have the title in the spine.
Oh, nice.
So tiny little title there, but it's 105 pages.
It's a spine. It has a spine.
It's a title spine. First time. So
that is so cool. Congratulations.
Well,
congratulations.
Thank you. I do love this book. It was fun to write. So hope you enjoy it as well. And I'll read one out of it a little later.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to order it. But I'm not going to order it on live because last time I did that, I flashed my address to everybody. So my home address.
We're not that much of a confessional poet. Well, I'm a confessional poet, but I still don't do that.
Yeah. If you want my P.O. box, that can be written on every bathroom wall. But home address should probably stay a little bit quiet.
Right. Better physical address.
Yep.
So, cool.
Well, it is very good to be back and in the swing of things. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. We're live.
Yes. We have emerged.
Yep.
Out the other side.
All right. Well, what have we got next? You just read one. I know we have poems from Nina today. We have a video from Pete, and we have a short from Pete, which both are linked in the description. But we're going to show one of those.
Cool. And I've got a poem from Jim Hill as well. So I've got one from Nina and one from Jim Hill.
Okay.
And then you've got Pete's video and another one from Nina. So and then we'll do two more from Nina the third Sunday. So we've got it under control.
We are organized despite you cannot stop us. You can't. I want to show off something. Okay, and this is a little bit of a show off thing, but the poetry postcard thing. Look at all these cool postcards that have been coming in. And for anybody who doesn't know, this is the poetry. Oh, wow. I should have prepared that better.
Poetry postcard. What's it called again? Challenge or whatever?
Challenge, yeah. And a bunch of poets sign up for this. And next year, we will be sharing this ahead of time so everybody can sign up. I found out about it the day before cutoff, I think.
Yes. And then I found out about it from you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was super tight there. Yeah. So,
I got 3 because the world hates me and I'm garbage. Just kidding. But anyway, Angela's got like 9.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know.
Amy's is actually on top because
I recognize that hot vampire.
I love that hot vampire. That was also the first one to come in for me too. I've kept mine like in order of like when I receive them. So yeah, that was the first one and my favorite. Not that I'm picking favorites, but you know, I can have favorites.
Parade wave. Oh, thank you, Angela. That's fun.
Oh, and the only one that is actually handmade. I thought we were all gonna hand makers, like you know.
I think this one's handmade that I got. It looks like watercolor, and then they've got a big gold foil, so that's pretty. Ooh. This one, that one is somebody's watercolor, but it's smooth and glossy.
I think that's probably the same author.
Oh yeah, you've got a big shiny one too. Okay, let's see. Well, I won't tell who it is because we're supposed to keep it all under wraps.
Yeah, we can share the front of the postcards, but not the poems. Right, because that's not our poems.
Yeah, the cool thing about this challenge is that I guess the purpose is to keep you from editing too much. Short poem, write on the postcard, don't edit too much. And I've been collecting mine before I mail them in like a little collection called like immediate poems or something. That's like the working title. So I figure once the whole thing is like, it's okay to share what you've written now, I'll probably put that just as an ebook or something, because it's really it's kind of a fun. I know that I've done like 16 of them because I number them as I put them in there. And I've gotten 3 in return. Oh, thanks, world. But I know it's, hey, probably everybody had what we had, and
now
get back up on their, because I wrote exactly 0 poems during that week. So
I did the fronts of the postcards, like I was doing the art part because you can do that and be sick. But I wasn't writing any poetry, and I actually have a stack of ones of just the art on the front, but I haven't written a poem on them. But after COVID, I think I sent out like 7 or 8 because they were just kind of stacking up, and I wasn't going to the post office, and then boom.
Oh, I can't wait. So Angela showed me the artwork on hers, and it's so pretty. You want to show it?
Yeah, I got the stack right here. I've been doing.
I love those colors.
What is that called? Neurographic art.
Oh, I love it. It is so gorgeous. And then I said, and I also love the colors. And you said that they were highlighters. I love that.
That happens to be, what's your artistic process, Angela? Well, I don't know if I'd call it a process. It's whatever highlighter is in front of me at the time.
Oh, I think that's part of the process. I mean, I would get compliments on my Etsy shop for like, I love how she uses old like packaging for like Cheez-Its boxes, like the other side, like to do the art on. And I'm like, well, it was COVID and you didn't know if you could get anything. And I don't have a lot of money for canvases. But we eat a lot of Cheez-Its and Sociables. And so, there's the root beer box. So it's like, sometimes it's like what you have to hand kind of just makes it part of what you do. And I love it. I think those colors.
Yeah, the point is creating, not all of the rules around it. Like create however you can and get it out.
Yeah, don't be limited by your budget or your ability to get out and buy some art supplies and stuff like that. So
I can't do anything. Do you have a pencil? Can you go to the library and steal a pen? Like I have a little collection of those I can help you with.
There's a woman, and I can't remember her name, darn it. She's a French, I think she's American French or maybe Canadian French, but she has a French accent. When I took one of her sketchy classes, she wrote a book called Sketch. I had it up from the library. But man, she shared drawings that she had done in her just like during a high school unrelated class, doodles with like a Bic pen. And it is like her shading abilities, like to vary the, the value and the dark and the light and everything is just like, it's staggering. And so it's like, you can, if you work at it, do a lot with a little,
Oh, yeah.
So I love that.
That's so cool.
I love that idea. Yeah. France. I want to say her name was France is in her name somewhere. Like France is in her name. I don't know if it's her first name or her last name, but anyway, she's cool. Sketch.
Awesome.
Sketch, France, something like that. Good one.
Nina asks if I think she's talking about the postcard thing. Can we still send? And that is actually, you can't sign up now for it because it's like a yearly thing. And I found out super late before I could really share it. Next year, we're going to share in plenty of time because we'll be part of this. Or I'm assuming for you, but I'm going to go out on them and say you'll do it as well. But it's been super fun. And I haven't actually talked to Amy about this yet, so she might like look a little shocked. No, I'm just kidding. Not that big a deal.
I have my shock face ready.
Yeah, I have that because we've got that little Facebook group that I started, League of Mad Poets. And the reason why I wanted to do that, which I have not done anything with it, I haven't done anything on a lot of things that I wanted to do right at this moment, but so that we could do things with poetry together as a group, like random act of kindness, but with poetry somehow, or like. Be a group where we're sharing things. But I thought we could do this postcard thing in the League of Mad Poets between all of us. For anybody who missed it, we could do that. So, or like in the Poetry Postcard Project Facebook page, occasionally somebody will just put up an address and say, anybody, like, I know there's a woman who's ill who couldn't participate this year. So they've said, could anybody send her a postcard out extra from their list, things like that. We could even do it like that. But I thought that would be a super fun project for us to do in the League of Mad Poets.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm terrible about getting on Facebook, but I will get on Facebook for that. It really stuff like this gets you to write poetry, gets you to kind of
It does.
just be in that
Yeah.
mind zone.
And I think it helps with the imposter syndrome a little bit too, because
Mhm.
it's like, oh, we're all doing this. We're
Yes.
all, first drafts are always terrible. And, these things, we're all in the same boat. We're all trying to
Yeah.
create and stuff. So,
And I've loved the 3 poems that I've gotten. They're really
Mhm.
they sing, and I've enjoyed
Yeah.
them, and I've enjoyed doing it. And so, yeah, really, we can do this anywhere, anytime, and I'll
Yeah.
be
Awesome.
around. So yeah.
After
Mhm.
this one is done, like I still have a bunch of more postcards because I bought like a 50 pack of the blank,
Yeah.
So I still got postcards left over that I can
Same
do.
here.
And I'm
Yep.
probably always going to do the neurographic art because it turns out
Yeah.
it's super great for brainstorming. Like when you're blank and you're
Ooh.
looking for those words, it's really easy to just start doodling on a postcard, which is what I equate my art to. It's pretty much
Yes.
doodling with a highlighter.
But it's
Oh,
so cool. I'm excited.
and one of these, the Sakura pins, who
Oh
I
yeah.
still have.
Hey. Awesome.
So,
I love
well,
it.
poetry. I think we should probably read some more poetry.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Okay. I can read Jim's if you like.
Yeah, you read Jim's and then I can read Nina's and and we'll just take it from there. Maybe take
We
a
will.
peat break, but yeah, we're loose.
Yeah. And then
We're just happy to survive this month, so we're just loosey goosey.
Yeah, it's like that. Like I think that like having an illness, it's like really at the end of it, you appreciate how good you feel so much more.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I don't want to take that for granted at all. Alrighty, an untitled poem from Jim Hill. The has-beens had been, perhaps will be again, where histories collide, meanings found in leather boundaries, voluminous tales of the reorientation of once idle hands, now properties delighting in devilish details.
Ooh.
Jim!
I love how that
Nice.
starts too. I always love that,
Yeah.
like the little wordplay, the has-beens. How did
Had
that go?
been. The
Has-beens had
has-beens
been.
had been. Yeah, Jim is really kind of a master at the wordplay, and it's very rhythmic but also succinct, kind of like some of our
Yeah.
postcard poems. So
Yeah.
very, very grateful, Jim. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm going to read. I just look at the time. I'm like, wow, we're almost halfway there already. And I think we have really just summed up the last month, which granted, there was a lot to sum there for everybody.
There was, guys. Oh yeah. Listen to my next week's podcast and you'll hear about the job I didn't get. Which is fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and this past week's has mausoleum cake in it. It's the 13th episode of Podcast in A minor.
Nice.
So it's spooky. It's got ghost stories and horror movies and the song Mausoleum Cake. So there you go, kids. Okay, and you've got one from Nina.
I've got Nina, and also like going back to Mausoleum Cake, every time I go by the graveyard, yesterday, in fact, I drove by the graveyard, and I don't actually get out of the house that much in a car anymore because we don't own a car. Happened to be driving a car yesterday, and I drove by the graveyard, and I was smiling, and then I was like, oh, like, I guess people don't normally smile really big and happy as they go by a graveyard, but I was thinking about Mausoleum Cake and all the poetry that we've read in the graveyard and the good times we've had. So
we have. I hope we've brought a little joy.
Graveyards in general, but yeah, we have entertained the deceased.
I hope so. Yes, I love that graveyard. It's got so much history.
It does. It does. All right, I'm going to read Nina real quick.
All right.
And I am going to read Lost, which is a poem by Nina Dark Angela, who is in our chat right now. And there we go. I will try to do this justice. Lost. Tiny bones arranged on a bed of cotton, a single daffodil snuggled in, golden glory and lavender sprigs, an offering of love and fidelity, a stone from the garden to keep her grounded, a favorite toy sacrificed so she'd never be alone. To say her tears could fill a sea would be an understatement. Today they flowed with intent. Each drop was captured, and a small heart-shaped vial, once stoppered, this too was placed with care. A final relic, the band she wore the day she came home. A watershed moment in a life yet unlived. With broken heart, the young one spoke the words only an 8-year-old an 8-year-old's grief could conjure. The lid was sealed and the small box buried at the base of Great-Grand's favorite tree. As they turned to walk away, oh, I'm sorry, I'm inserting words here. As they turned to walk away, no, I'm not. The ground rumbled, the clouds darkened, the trees began to shake. Brilliant fingers of light spread below them. Enchanted, the girl ran back to the tree. She hugged the bark and called out to her beloved Lucy, and Lucy answered in vibrant hues of orange, yellow, and red. As the phoenix burst through the canopy, the young girl began to scream. Flesh melted from bone, blood ran free to quench the earth, flaxen strands crisped to heat.
Wow. Powerful as ever, Nina
Yeah.
Dark Angela.
And speaking of dark, Angela, such a surprise, dark kind of, because I hadn't actually gotten to read this yet because of everything moving so fast this week. But that was a surprise end. I also apologize. Apparently, I started trying to insert words, but the words were there. So I think that was just my eyes.
I get that. But yeah, so much good. Like, I mean, I could
wonderful.
It was like watching a movie. That was just so good.
Yeah,
Such
love that. Kind of like, whoa, ending too.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Very nice. All right. I have another one from Nina. Do you want to play a poem from Pete first, and then we can return to Nina? All right, we can do that.
Pete's video real quick. Oops. Oh, there it is.
Pete Kelly.
Here we go. Let's go ahead and share some Pete Kelly.
Yes.
Lord of the Flies. Gruesomely howls the wind as a ghastly Gregorian chant. Upon a window pane flailing, tree branches rap discordant. Manic shadows dance to a din, eerily about a moonlit wall, as the door warps and groans, seemingly soon to buckle. Alone in bed, with knees drawn up, arms wrapped round for comfort, desperate eyes search the room for escape from this horror. With a suddenness all is still. Slowly the door creaks open. In the dark, a figure framed enters calmly, sweeping in. Into a pillow, sinking further, all hope is gradually undone, as a whispering voice imparts, "Nowhere to run, little one." Tips of a clawed hand glint, with a swift and silent strike. Inhaled is her scream of pain, the bouquet of fear is drug-like. From the doorway, a deep drone, as an intense darkness moves, separating into countless flies, swarming into the bedroom, fearfully wiping them from wounds, though replaced they are instantly. Sobbing with the futility, she is finished with all that is worldly. Now without the wherewithal to repel, new wounds are exposed to feed, disappeared under a seething mass. Her outline shrinks, her inner consumed. Left are the bones to collect, for immortality they defy. Such totems are required when you are Lord of the Flies. Thank you.
Woo! I have read that one on Instagram, and so it's so good to hear it read, because I was like, what? I knew parts that were coming. I was like, the thing about little one.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that's the first time I heard that one.
Yeah, I had read that one, and good work, Pete, and thank you again for all that you bring to the show. All righty.
Nice. There's a comment from Nina, and this is actually a comment about Nina's poem.
Okay.
They have that one up that I neglected to put up. But yeah, good job, Pete. I love that. He's such a performer too. He's such a great performer. I was actually watching him going, how does he get it so dark?
Yeah, and how does I was like, I know I was also thinking he's got to memorize it, you know. It's like I did a live poetry a couple of weeks ago for Electrified Corset because I hadn't been able to show it when we had whenever blah, blah 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 blah. And so somebody, God bless Kristen Turner, who is a kind of an Instagram friend, and she's like, I had sent her a copy of Art Rates, and she's like, can you read this one? She like actually requested one. And I was like, but I was reading from Transfusion Poetica, and I had Art Rates with me, and I was like, is that an Art Rates? I don't even know. What about? Oh yeah, this one. So I don't even know what I've written, and Pete is like, he knows his stuff so well, he can perform it. I mean, that's awesome. I love it. Oh man, thank you, Pete, for dazzling us again.
Realize something. Nina sometimes calls me TDM, which stands for Taxi Driver Mama. But if I don't have my hat, who am I now?
Oh man, existential
identity crisis.
just relax, because I'm an expert at these. I'll make the tea and hold your hand through the long dark night, because I'm always like, who am I now?
Oh wait, I have a thing to clean with.
See, you're you again. Hey, your hat is immortalized in Transfusion Poetica, which if I can find, it's before this. I included your portrait. Anyway, it's in here somewhere. I hate to sit here and just flip through the pages all day, but yeah, there it is. I found it. Okay.
So there's what it looks like.
Moving it the wrong way. Yeah, that's the hat we're talking about. So immortalized. If you never find it again, now it's your new chapter of life. That chapter has been kind of set down. Maybe that's why.
Oh, I know I'll find it. You know, honestly, it's been because it was so hot and windy for a while. We went through a heat wave here, like the rest of America. Triple digits in Kansas City. We don't normally get that.
We don't, no. Especially not for like a week or two.
Went out the window. It was not happening.
Amen. Amen. I don't know how my long hair survived, because I almost a few times was like, see ya, because it's hot.
Well, hot. The secret to hair, I think, like the only reason I can have it this long is because there's like actually no hair. So I just have the very surface to worry about. There's no other hair there. So I can,
it's like the whole
it's much cooler.
Trick.
Yeah, much cooler that way.
Yeah, that is. I've always had way too much hair, and so that might be a thought, especially.
You ever want to shave your head? I love shaving people's heads. It's a thing. All right.
Cool. Okay. Check. That is in the file, and I will now know. It can happen. Oh, I've got another one from Nina that I will now read.
Yes.
Called "The Way of It." Pain, muscles protest the need to move. Blind, she's dragged into the glaring light. Vertigo, the edge of the frustum too near. Thunder, the sound of blood slamming through her ears. Clarified, a feather plucked from her hair. Disrobed, a slave paints her with blessed symbols. Cold, her flesh upon the altar. Splayed, her arms and legs tethered. Wet, the tears that run from her eyes. Revered, the shaman that will take her life. Fear, the sound of naked feet slapping stone. Hot, the blade that opens her throat. Froth, iron-rich gurgle feeds the trough. Panic, the struggle to pull in air. Chanting, her people revel in sacrifice. Silence, the body left as an offering. Drought, the winds scrub the land of seed. Famine, no crop will grow. Blame, she did not appease. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
I love that whole form there, where it's like always a word followed by a comma, and then here's why. Here's what I'm talking about. And yes, of course, again, the visual and sort of like oral wording with the gurgling.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nina. Dark Angela.
Yeah, very nice.
Again, nice work. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Nina's got my heart there with all the dark imagery that she instills into her works.
Yes, she kind of undersells herself when she sends us poetry. Like, sorry, if it's not good enough, but we're always stunned, Nina. We're like, Wow. You mean you haven't been doing this for like ever? Because it really flows. It really does. So nice work. We enjoy it.
I actually think that might be a sign of poetry, because I think every poet that I love
Yeah.
is winds up at some point saying, you know, oh, this is crap. Don't pay attention to it. Sorry. I'm like just tossing my junk on you. And those
Yeah.
are always like my favorite poets it winds up being. And not because of that, but I think that's a state of that, you know, that self-doubt, that imposter
Mhm.
syndrome is why it's good, because it's you're constantly honing it and honing it,
Yes.
because nothing is great when it first comes out. It's all
Right.
crap when it first hits the page, you know, and it's the polishing and the polishing that turns it into something.
Yeah. Yep. And it is. You can look at it as even just a second time and be like, well, this obviously needs to, you know, and this
Mhm.
word would be better. And I find it a really fun process, but that's also because I'm really self-involved, apparently. But that's life, right?
Hey, you know
Like
what?
Rilke said, yeah.
Yeah, if you're not involved with yourself, who's gonna be involved?
Well, now that I found to be true. So,
Mhm,
but like Rilke said, if you're in a prison, write about your childhood. You know, if nothing's
mhm.
going on, and so it's like, yeah, there's a lot to say. There's just a lot in life and out in the world, and I always admire people who look outside of themselves more than I do, because I'm constantly trying to solve my problems so that I'm
Yeah.
not ape shit. Forgive my French. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. That's an old American / English habit of like calling French, like calling swear words French.
Oh,
Sorry. We
that's
love you,
okay.
France.
You know what?
Beautiful.
Honestly, if we are going to start being really self-editing for all the words we shouldn't say, we will probably not have language left, because pretty
That's right.
much I just
Everything's
had
off
this
limits.
discussion
Ah,
about spastic, the word spastic,
yes.
which we've had a personal history with. And at one time I was like, who would be offended by that though? You know, and then we just had
Yeah.
that thing with Beyonce where she used the term, I think, spazzing on the dance floor, and people got
Oh.
really upset apparently. And so she had to rework the song.
Hmm.
We had that discussion before, and then my opinion was spastic is fine, spaz is fine. Like, why is that an insulting word? I think it all does come down to the intention though, you know?
Yeah, I
Like,
think it does.
yeah, I
But
don't think she used that in that way, but
I think there's a lot of uh, uh, I don't know if it's just with like the new generation or who it is, but there is a lot of knee jerk and not
mhm,
stopping to investigate the intention. I mean, everything moves so fast now with the
yeah,
internet and scrolling and stuff that like we're like, oh, it's like I just quote unquote love that there's this population of people out there that are not stopping to investigate. They are blitzing to like, grab something with their talons and call it out like they're
yeah,
perfect, and no discussion, just boom, kick your ass, move on. I mean, I think
yeah,
that's dumb. And
yeah,
I'm just saying that like the first book of poetry I released this past April, I mean 10 years after the one before it, but is called Ordeal in French Lipstick. And for ages I had that in my mind titled as Spastic in French Lipstick, because it's an emotional thing that was going on with me, and spastic was how I felt, out of control of my life, out of control of my emotions. I was barfing a lot of it into this poetry, and it's like, that's the word I still wish I'd used. But it was the first time I was releasing a book of poetry in 10 years, and I really didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But I sometimes think that the people who get their feelings hurt are not always the people who,
yeah.
are being insulted
Could
by
have
that
been
term.
insulted. Yeah,
And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm a jerk and blah blah blah, but like my heart was spastic, was what
yeah,
that title was, because like I am just trying to convey in a short amount of words, that it was just a crazy freaking time,
yeah,
and not one I wish to repeat, and blah blah blah,
yeah.
abracadabra, so got that from The Simpsons. I can't claim it, but anyway,
I love it.
I love that one. We say it all the time here because we're always using the Simpsons wisdom to kind of sum our lives up. And it's like
Oh, that's
blah
too
blah
funny.
blah, abracadabra.
That's
So
funny. I kind of think that where we've come with the whole word, you know, that you can't use that word, you can't say this, you can't say that, like that censorship, honestly,
yes, yep,
censorship,
yeah,
social censorship,
hmm,
is like, because we're just, everything is content now. You know, what are you
yeah,
going to put up on your
yes,
Instagram? Got a daily post, got to post 3 times on Twitter, 2 times on Instagram per day, and then you got your Facebook conversations, you got this, you got that. And so people will like run out of things to say, because honestly, I don't know if any of us are that interesting on a daily basis, and we're all tired of sharing our lunches, So I think that's what it is now, is like looking for like, oh, I could possibly have an outrage against this,
Yes. Oh, here's something. And I agree with you, because I was talking about this in like I had a 2-part podcast episode titled Hello Chuckling Vampire, about this book I wrote, and the song I wrote, not book, song I wrote. And I referenced, and there's a hot vampire for you. So like there was a moment when I was in my 30s that I read, and here's where I like what it ties into is, I think magazines used to, like women's magazines and stuff, used to have to do the same thing. Oh, we better have some content. Because some idiot in, like, forgive me if it wasn't you, Woman's Day, but some idiot in one of those type of magazines, Family Circle, I don't know, my mother-in-law had been subscribed to them for so long that she could get free gift subscriptions and would get them for me, and I'd read them while I was working on the switchboard sometimes, because I might find out a recipe or whatever. And like there was one thing that's like, it's you shouldn't have long, good God, okay, everybody just bear with this, because this makes me want to scream. You shouldn't have long hair, women, past the age of 30, because somebody might see you from behind and be like, ooh, hot babe, and then become upset that you're a hag. And look how much I'm listening to that, okay, right now, because I'm 47, and I'm just like, at the time I had that 90s knee-jerk thing where like, oh my God, the magazine told me this, oh no, what the hell are you doing, girl? What are you doing? And I mentioned that because the same kind of magazine, I mentioned it in the podcast because the same magazine said something 10 years ago about, don't go to your doctor with a list of things that you found out about medical stuff, like on the internet, because blah, blah. I think that's changed, I hope, by now, because at the time that I was like, reading that, I found out that an antibiotic I had been given, had given me tonsillitis, and I went to the doctor and I said, my throat really hurts. I feel better everywhere else where I was hurting before, but now my throat is on fire. And I read that this antibiotic can cause tonsillitis. And the guy goes, no, it doesn't cause that. But if you have this again in the next month, you're going to have your tonsils out. I'm like, I'm 35. And this is the first time in my life I've ever gone in the mirror and seen my friggin' tonsils. I've never had this before. And so then he changed he changed my antibiotic for me. Oh, thank you, kiss your ring, and then I got a friggin' bladder infection, which I'd never had before in my life. And that's the moment I became a hippie. The end. Oregano oil. So God bless America. I was so mad.
I am with you there. I am with you there. Lyme disease. I will step on my Lyme disease soapbox just a little bit. I wound up getting bitten by a tick, got the rash, saw the tick, got the bullseye rash, which only I think 30% of the time is there. But it's one of the only ways you can definitely say it's Lyme disease. Got super sick, and I'm talking super sick. Lyme disease can kill you. Like, oh God. Psychologically, it can make you suicidal, but in a really weird, instant way, like self-harm, but in a very instant way. A panic attack. I'd never had one in my life. Had 2. Those were scary. Like all of these things, and migraines were the worst for me because my brain stem was swelling. And so if I turned my head like this, literally vision blacks out, 8 hours of pain. So I was going around like this because I couldn't,
turn your head. Yeah.
Googled it, Googled what could be wrong with me. And of course I'm looking at like cancer and like radioactive spiders bit me. And comes up Lyme disease, went to the doctor, and I was like, oh, Lyme disease, of course, because I had the tick and the rash, the bullseye rash. And I'm lucky that I saw these, but I can definitely say this is Lyme disease. Went to the doctor. The doctor told me there's no Lyme disease around here. You're ridiculous. Didn't even look at it. I had pictures of the rash because by now it was a month. If you catch Lyme disease, it can literally tear your life asunder. I have somebody I know that walks around with a colostomy bag and is pretty much shut down for life. Very limited on what she can do because she had Lyme disease for 8 years and nobody would catch it. if you can catch it early, it's a month of tetracycline. Boom,
Yeah.
and you're done. So easy. You
Yeah.
know, not even any side effects except like, I don't know, nausea, and you got to eat yogurt afterwards, whatever.
Yeah, to rebuild your gut bacteria.
Yeah. But that doctor went in there, this is all the things, and he did not want to diagnose me with Lyme disease, left in tears because I was like, oh my gosh, what hope do I have? You know, like, how can I fix this debilitating thing that actually, that's why I retired from newspaper work, because I was like, I just can't handle the stress and all of this stuff happening to me. Later that afternoon, I went back really mad and said, could you at least look at the rash? Like, I would think as a doctor, you need to at least look.
Good for you.
And consider it. And then, I don't know if he'd been on Google, but then he just immediately, his whole thing had changed. It was like, yeah, go ahead and have the tetracycline. And that was my argument. Tetracycline. It's not even like I can sell this or be addicted, or nobody wants it.
Drug. Yeah. It's not even a hard antibiotic. It's just, you know.
So I started taking the tetracycline. Within like probably 2 days, I had my life back. It was like, and I always will have it, but it's if I'm too tired or something like that, it can crop up again, but never like that. Hope, knock on wood. But yeah, think of, and then when I tried to report it and I said, oh, you know, should we report it? Because I actually caught it from a tick on a military base during an activity of archery. Like, so should we warn the archery club? Like, that's what I think. Like, let's warn everybody and let them
wear
know.
Some deep woods off and some pants and you know, stuff like that. Or
make sure you take a shower afterwards, because that's why I got bitten. That was the one time I didn't take a shower after being in the woods, because I had a lunch date. You know, I'll just skip it this time, you know. But yeah, so simple. And the doctor wouldn't. Yeah. So I say, screw the magazine. Do Google. You don't want to go overboard, but that's why we have information all over the place now.
And that was 10 years ago, granted, but also it's kind of like their argument was they don't have time to listen to you, blah, blah, blah. Ridiculous. They need to make
What
time.
Are they getting paid for?
Yeah. I mean, how
$300 or $400 an hour?
That they can just glance at you and know yes, I think some of them do think that they know everything at a glance, and the point is, I have a story to tell you, it can help you with whatever the heck is going on here. Son of a gun.
We know our bodies better than anybody else.
Yes, I feel like I would never be a doctor because it's just not my calling. But if I were, I would, by God, be listening to people to tell me, because I want to get this right. You know, I want to get this right. This is your health and your life.
Yeah.
But I'm just me. So, you know. So anyway, that's why I have a killer herb garden.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I could go on with many stories about that. But yes, not anti-doctor, but just I am pro self-educate.
Yes. And yeah, exactly. Yes, true. Because there are definitely, I mean, I had cancer surgery when I was 24, and that woman, my doctor, Verda Hunter, I'm going to shout her out. Not only did she like do such a marvelous job that I didn't have to have any follow-up like chemotherapy or anything, and I was able to have a child after 6 months of trying, because I had an ovary and a half that were taken away in this surgery, and I still had a child. But also, a couple of years after I got married with another rant, just kidding. Anyway, he was calling, but back to Verda Hunter at the moment.
Okay.
She, like, a couple of years after I had my surgery for cancer, she was on the news while we were in St. Louis, and because she had broken wide open this crooked pharmacist who was diluting, I don't know if he's a pharmacist or what his deal was. He was some distributor of chemotherapy drugs, and he was diluting them to make more of a profit. And she figured it out because she saw that people were not making the progress that they should. So she was tuned in. And
wow.
And so I wanted to just shout out a good doctor after like crapping on doctors.
Crapping on him, so, that's awesome.
So yeah, just to share, I'm a confessional poet. Thank you for listening. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. We have been doing a lot of confessing. I think we should hear a poem from your book, Transfusion Poetica, the newest.
Okie dokie. I'm going to read the very last poem because I've had a tradition in my last 3 poetry books of always ending with a poem about Roland S. Howard, who was a post-punk musician. Beautiful, beautiful. And so this is the final poem in the book, and it is called Your Bright Self. To Roland. You've left, your muses wander. You've departed, your muses disperse. Love, though you would to imagine that it all flume to the surface, automatos, autoluminescent, born to your bright self, hair of flume, poet eyes enlarging even as we speak, lone survivor of a flamed out poet planet, and then misanthropic of the crying jag. This is my pet belief, and if true, where are your muses now? Could I borrow them? Muses figure into this book very much. It's not like, okay, Art Wraiths was very much about specific muses. This is about not just, you know, stuff about poetry, like how we used forms and made up forms and things like that, but also how does the inspiration come? And so I'm really always preoccupied with that idea. So catch Transfusion Poetica. It's, if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free right now. I mean, it's on Kindle Unlimited, but I just looked at mine right before this, and like it was misaligned. It was like chopping off poems. So I just noticed that. I'm gonna have to go in there and figure that out, or see if it's just mine. Let me know if it's yours too. But the book is actually it's all what it should be. So of course that's more of an investment, but I'll look at that ebook and see what I can figure out how to, because I did it just like I always do it, and this one got weird, at least in my phone. So thank you for listening.
And we have a comment. Amy, awesomeness.
Oh, thank you, my friend Nina. Oh, Nina's such a good encourager to me. That encouragement is like gold to me, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to read this. Like this thing that happened while I was not on this planet.
Yeah,
so excited. That was a good reason to come back.
Yes, exactly. I only released it on August 1st or 2nd, something like that. I think maybe the end of July. I don't even remember. I think I may have released it on July 29th, which forever in my mind will always be, thank you, Tiger Beat Magazine, 1980s, Will Wheaton's birthday. So, Will Wheaton, I assume you're watching. That is my gift to you.
That's so funny.
Oh, Will. Oh,
I love the idea of the muses, though, borrowing muses, because like I would borrow David Bowie's muses in a heartbeat.
Oh gosh, I would definitely take Roland S. Howard's muses, because he was such a force on the guitar, and then he's got this movie documentary about him called Autoluminescent, where he reads from an extract from an unpublished novel that he'd written. I'm like, I want it, but it's like he's like Rosethorn. He's Australian. Rosethorn. God, how she overwhelmed me. I'm like, come out of the grave and kiss my navel. The end. Roland S. Howard. That's my wish. Thank you. So that was gross, but anyway. Thank you for putting up with me, world. Okay.
Oh, that's okay. Well, the horror author, I automatically went to how he probably looks right now, and if he came out of the grave, and I was like, huh.
Let's see, how long has it been? A few years. He's a leathery skeleton by now, or whatever.
that I might have to do another kiss my navel, but with a corpse coming out of it.
Yes!
Not necessarily one that I know, but a general corpse.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be a good poem/story? Okay, well, we're thinking ahead to the next Siren's Call, and to I'm trying to collect some ghost stories for an October collection, but I don't have as many as I would like, so I might have to disappear for a couple of weeks and see what happens. I'll sit in the dark and So read your novel, read a lot of the vampire ones from what's the collection of the Anne Rice tribute? What's it called again? Because I have it.
Interview with the Vampire, but I don't think that's the whole collection.
Yeah, but remember the one that you contributed? Didn't you contribute the story? To the tribute,
Dancing in the Shadows.
Yes,
I have a copy right here that I can show.
Good. I should get it. I think if I have a physical copy, I will read it faster. I've been reading it, but I'm so bad with ebooks. Oh, and it's pretty.
Yeah. My brain has just gone blank. Andromeda did the art, which is
Ooh.
beautiful, but that's not her whole name. I'll just look.
Okay.
Jeanette Andromeda, who is on Instagram. But yeah, she did the art. Gorgeous. Everybody's stories. Nobody got paid anything for this because all the money goes to Arno, which is Animal Rescue of New Orleans. Nina has a story in here.
Yes. I haven't read yours yet, Nina. I'm working on it.
Lee has a story in there. I have a story in there. Off the cuff, I'm like trying to oh, wait, we're talking about this now. But yeah, Rebecca Rowland and Elaine Pascal did the editing. They did a gorgeous job. But yeah, all the money from this does go to Animal Rescue of New Orleans. I just sent them a $30 check. And that was the royalties before. And then they got a copy or a bunch of these books. I think I sent like 20 of these so that they can do whatever they're going to do on their own. Yeah, Jeanette Andromeda.
It's called Dancing in the Shadows. Dancing in the Shadows.
Yeah, and Nina doesn't have a story in here. I thought you did, but I think I'm thinking of Lee. Lee Andrew Foreman has a story
Lee
in
has
here.
one.
But and Nina helped. Like she was a foundational person doing this. Wow, I have like no words, but but yeah, she was like instrumental in this happening. So yeah, it was good. It was a team effort, definitely a team effort. I feel like I haven't been able to give this book as much love as it deserves, like with sharing it and stuff, because just so many things have been happening. But
but it came up on Cake and Hyperbull, so vampire stories.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good stories in here. I've been enjoying it, which is weird because I don't read on paper, I found. So I go by, I'll get it so that I can like hold it up and have a physical thing. I will never read on paper anymore. I just know that about myself. So I will buy the ebook and actually get it read.
Right.
So,
and I'm the opposite. It's like I have to have, I just don't open certain apps on my phone very much. So it's like I have to have the physical copy sitting on a table. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's like I need visual cues out in the world.
Yep. And that's how I fall asleep at night. That's I read. So it has to be on my phone because I'm sitting in the dark. So that's why,
That is good. That's good. Yeah. I don't read before bed that much. I usually am just like, I mean, unless I do it like in the living room. My husband has this thing where he's like, I love to read. I should get him reading on a Kindle. I don't think he will. He's kind of a Luddite about that stuff. But it's like, he's like, I got to read before bed. I'm like, well, read in the living room or literally across the hall in your study so I can have the dark and then it won't keep me awake. And he's like, literally, if I walk across the hall, I'm going to be wide awake. But okay, but I guess I need my own bedroom. Okay.
That is so funny.
Oh man, but we've made it work. He hasn't been doing it that much lately because we've been watching Stranger Things, which has occupied our minds. So
yes, things that occupy the mind. Last night we got on Sandman, which I think just came out by Neil Gaiman, the Netflix adaptation. Amazing! I'm a huge Sandman fan from way back.
Right.
So that was very cool, very good.
We have Netflix for a month, so I may have to just like
it's incredible. I will say Sandman is why I am the person I am today. Instead of an absolute murderous bitch that nobody can stand, that's probably would be in prison somewhere.
You're so far from that. Yay, Sandman. Wow.
I like to think I'm from there.
Life-changing literature.
It was that series. I stumbled across it in a comic. Well, I guess we used to call them comic shops. I don't know what they're called now.
I don't either, but
yeah. And it was like, oh, you don't have to be a hateful person. Just because hateful things happen to you, you can be a different person. You can choose. So yes, beautiful. Sandman or Neil Gaiman's death is my role model still, probably. She is such a sweetheart. So I am, Anyways, can't say enough. I will stop plugging Sandman. I do have a poem to read that I wrote for a collection that I'm doing with Dan B. Fierce and Francis Pye. Oh my goodness, all the names have just disappeared. Maxwell I. Gold. But yes, anyways, 4 of us have gotten together and we're doing a collection. And so this is a poem I wrote for that, and it's all on the final hour, like the apocalypse is coming and counting backwards on a clock. So each of us have taken a horseman I got death.
Ooh.
I even got assigned death. Like, I really wanted death, but I said I'll take whatever's left over, and I got death. So I'm like, that's my favorite one. That's what I would choose anyways.
I knew.
So yeah, this is the poem I wrote for that. So I'll read that, and yeah, and I actually just realized I wrote this when I was sick, and I haven't read it since. So hopefully it's okay.
Oh, it's got to be. I bet it's great. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. It's called Sweet Dying of Light. Even death needs a light, a glimmer of star, a slice of silver sickle, reaping the shadows, harvesting forgotten dreams. Even death craves hope. Your soul is my light, shimmer shine at the edge of night, dewy mares seasoned in the salty brine of weeping, running fast to nowhere, jagged, silent screams, ripping apart your dreams at the seams. You think me your enemy, but I'm a true friend that sticks to the end, cutting dead weight to make you strong. No bold without the cold, there's no brave without trembling. Heroines don't rise from perfect lives, but from ashes. You have, because I created have not. In case you forgot, there is no life appreciation for immortals, just endless days. You cannot love what you cannot lose. I take away, you choose. When death was a child, they wished for apocalypse. They wanted to see how lovely the sun as it slips into the night, sweet dying of light.
Oh, brava. I love when death was a child. I love the whole thing about, like, there's no courage without trembling. I heard a Scottish dude who my husband likes to watch. It's called the Critical Drinker. He's a critic of things, but he's also, like, I think he's pretending to be drunk because it's a shtick. But it also slows him down speaking, which is good because he's Scottish and it's kind of hard for my ears to understand him sometimes.
Yeah.
But he was talking about how Disney movies and some of these other movies nowadays, they always create these heroines that have, like, they're born perfect, It's like the Matrix. They were fed all their skills or whatever instead of having to overcome and get, climb out of the mire and whatever to get. And so I love that. You wrote that while you're sick. That was.
Oh. As I was reading it, I was like, I think I was thinking about Sandman at this time because I was like the endless. I just saw so many references. So maybe
That's
just
awesome.
the endless, but yeah, I have been looking at that, like the previews, like, oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. So
yeah, ever since I saw the Twilight Zone episode where death was played by young, beautiful Robert Redford, I'm always like, what if death was like Lixa Bargild? What if death was like, and like whatever post-punk, Nick Cave or whatever. And then there's that episode of Adventure Time where he lives the whole life in the pillow fort and Chili's an old man. And then it's kind of like he's birthed out, but he's like, oh no, I'm not dying yet. Oh wait, here it comes. Woo! And it's like this kaleidoscope. And I'm just like, I think about death like that forever because he just made it look so fun.
Yeah. I think honestly that's how it's going to be because I picture like in the womb and you're getting ready to come out here and that would be terrifying. I mean, that's probably why babies cry. It's probably why we don't remember it, So I think that's the way death is going to be is we'll just go popping into some other place. Who knows? Could be another person, a new person, could be something else. And it'll just be like, awesome. And then what were we scared about?
An adventure. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this Adventure Time was what that was on. But yeah, it's like if you think of it as like, this is the next thing and it's going to be awesome. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm not in a rush to get there, but...
No, but I'm not going to
I think it'll be fun. Yeah,
I do too. And then also one last point I always have to bring up. Well, they call orgasms in French the little death.
Oh, yeah.
So if an orgasm is the little death, then maybe death is like a big version of that.
I'm going to refer to death as the big O from here on out.
Big O. Everybody go forth without fear because it's going to be groovy.
Well, on that note, I have to bring up then that Edgar Allan Poe has that little quote, sleep, those little slices of death, how I loathe them. So what was he talking about?
Sleep, those little slices of death, oh, how I loathe them. Maybe he was just being poetical about, because in the Bible, they always referred to death as sleeping a lot, and at least in the King James version. And So like maybe he's like, I hate sleep. It's just the sleep I hate. Let's hope. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Because I would hate that he didn't like. Well, all right. Now I'm going off into that super
He
gray
could have been
area.
he could have just been wrong about death. You know, he was real
Yeah,
gloomy.
yeah,
Real
yeah,
poor little
yeah.
guy.
Or
So
maybe if
yeah.
his deaths were coming in little slices, right there, that's kind of a, you know,
Right. If his little deaths were in little slices, it's like, oh man, come
might
on.
want to practice that more.
Well, we've done it again, Angela.
Just couldn't say goodbye without inserting some. Oh, wow.
Help people
No
look
pun intended.
forward to death, not as they want to do it soon, but to not spend time fearing it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a little different. Artists and poets, we're supposed to give you a little different possible perspective sometimes. So there you
exactly.
go. It's our
So,
job. Yeah.
well, on that note, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
That is all I've got, and I had a great time. And we'll
Yeah.
definitely see you at Third Sunday Poetry on Instagram.
Wait, what did
What do we
Nina
got?
say?
Let's go. I have to put on my glasses.
Yes.
Let's go with the hate the end sleep. It kept him from words.
Yes.
Right, exactly. I always have to have that tumbling twilight moment right before sleep, and that's where I get words. But yeah, sleep generally is weird dreams though are kind of awesome. Maybe his
Yeah.
dreams were too weird and frightening, and that would be, I think, a burden. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes. As one who has slept, I think the last month, I'm ready to not sleep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a lot of sleep accompanying that
Yeah.
ailment, so which is good, but also it was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I
Oh,
guess that's
thank you,
it.
ladies.
Yeah.
A pleasure, Nina.
The September Cake and Hyperbull will be the first Saturday of September, which is like
Yeah.
kind of apparent. That link is already up. And that link, I believe, is in the description of this. You can also find the link to Transfusion Poetica, which is Amy Zoeller's new book. I'm very excited about that. I've got another video that we didn't play today on there and the video that we watched from Pete. So there's two video posts from Pete Kelly, our guest poet. And I can't think of what else is in that description, but I'll try to put all the good stuff.
Yay! Looking forward to it. But in the meantime, we'll see you at Third Sunday Poetry and just out and about on, Instagram. If I post anything, I've been slower at posting just because a lot's been going on that isn't visual art. So yeah. But there you go.
Yeah, and I will answer all my messages. I have like 50 Facebook messages, and like I can't even count all the Instagram ones. If you've sent me a message and I haven't answered yet, I'm trying to hit the ones that I know have something that I'm supposed to do. But I will get to all those. I just give me some time.
That's right. Recovery.
Catching up.
Nice.
I'm catching back up.
That's right. It's a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but
good.
Yeah. Otherwise, I guess I'll see you Third Sunday. I'll probably see you before then, but definitely on Third Sunday.
Exactly. Okay, guys.
Bye.